Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to an extra show. It's the Jon Gaunt podcast. Starmer and Cooper, Yvette Cooper, betrayed Britain a couple of days ago. There's no two ways about it. And there's fury in the country, and I don't see it any time getting any easier for those two muppets. What's your view? Today, I'm going to talk about that betrayal. I'm going to talk about what happened in Epping and how can a British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and a British Home Secretary side with illegal immigrants before siding with the great British public. Are they on your side? I've got to say, I don't think they are. So we're talking about the Epping Migrant Verdict, the latest twist in the United Kingdom's immigration crisis, and it is a crisis. Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper under massive fire as they come back from their holidays. She's been interrailing around Europe. For God's sake, grow up, you stupid woman. And meanwhile, Keir Starmer, we now find out, has been in Croatia. He's managed to lift himself off the sunbed to get back to Parliament and 10 Downing Street tomorrow. You've got to ask the question, where's he been the past couple of weeks? I know he's been in Croatia, but where's he been in terms of making a statement to the country? The country, the United Kingdom, is burning, as the Ruts would say, with anxiety now. But the bottom line is, it's just going to get worse and worse. He has to speak to the nation. Can he explain? Or can she? And indeed, Bridget Phillipson, the education minister, she was on the telly this morning and she's doubled down on this. Yes, yes, yes. Illegal migrants come before British citizens. Their excuse, it's the ECHR. They say they've got to do that. Just like that stupid judge said the same thing. I said not to criticise the judges the other day, but now we look at the background of them. You've got to raise an eyebrow, haven't you? Should they not have excused themselves and said, look, I can't be on this panel deciding this because I'm in bed with the Labour Party, metaphorically speaking. I don't want to go down, metaphorically speaking, for a comment like that. But how have we got ourselves in a position where illegal immigration and the ECHR comes above us, the British people? So it's today I want to talk much more than just Epping, because this is about Labour's future. No, more than that. It's about our great country's future. It's about Britain's borders. And it's also, I'm asking the big question, and I want you to tell me, put your comments in the little comment box at the bottom. Do you believe Starmer and Yvette Cooper can survive the backlash? Are they finished? Or are they so arrogant? Starmer is, of course. Is he so arrogant that he thinks he'll get away with this? He'll point to the European Court of Human Rights and say, well, that's where we are, Convention of Human Rights, sorry. Is that what he'll do? I think he probably will. Are you going to let him get away with it? That's what I want to know. Because this Epping Migrant Verdict, and I know it's not over, still going to go to a proper trial in October time. And of course, the big news today is there's 19 councils, including some Labour ones, who are basically going to try and do the same thing to Starmer. I think he's finished because he couldn't win yet the other day. But we've got an immigration crisis. But it's more than just immigration. It's illegal immigration. Thousands of people getting into our country with no documents. We don't know who they are. And there's been sexual assaults. Why should somebody who lives in Epping, has been paying their council tax, paying their inland revenue, being a good member of sending their kids to school, all the rest of it, why should their daughters, their wives, their children, their partners, their girlfriends now be living in fear? And this isn't me making up. There's serious allegations of what's gone on in Epping, in that hotel. The same in Nuneaton. Yes, everyone deserves a fair trial, and I'm the first one to say that. But what about the trial that Ryan is having at the moment? Ryland dared to say what most of us are thinking, and all your left-wingers have got him cancelled. He didn't say anything. They said, oh, there's no NHS in the hospitals. Well, he didn't mean literally, you dumbos. What he meant was they get taken to a hotel and then they've got full access to the NHS, which is true. If you go to Australia, you don't get their National Health Service for years until you've paid in. We give it them the first day they get here. Dentistry, which they probably haven't had. All these things are good. Vaccinations, which they haven't had. Full medicals. We've even been giving them wigs. What the effing hell is going on? And then they use this ECHR as their get out of jail card. Starmer's never going to give that up. If you broke him in half like a stick of Blackpool rock, it would say EU. He's getting us back in by the back door. And you know he loves getting things done by the back door. So it's more than Epping. It's about Labour's future. I think they're finished. It's about Britain's borders. And it's about whether these two muppets, Starmer and Cooper, after keeping quiet, I mean, even if they're on holiday, they should have made a proper statement. I see today he's got his videos going up again and his stills on Facebook and on X telling us all how wonderful he is. He's taking this country to hell in a handcart, and he has betrayed us. I'm Jon Gaunt, as you know. This is the debate you won't hear anywhere else. So let's get on to it. Let's have your comments. You fuel the discussion. And I'm sorry it's very short notice, but I was just sitting there today thinking, I don't want to wait until Monday. I want to talk about it now. I want to talk about what he's done to our country. And I do think the treatment of Ryland comes into this. He has now been made a scapegoat. Well, like Spartacus, I'm with Ryland. Are you? I just think he talked common sense. And they're going, oh, the crime that he's been accused of is repeating racist tropes or falsehoods. Well, okay, next day, come on the programme and give the other side of the argument. They want to wreck this young man, a very, very talented young man, by the way. They want to ruin his career because he hasn't just fell in. He wasn't even that controversial. He just said what most people are saying in pubs and clubs, if there are any of those left open, Starmer, the length and breadth of the country. And he's more in touch with the British public than you'll ever be, you prat. If you got off your sunbed and actually realised what was going on, if you knew what was going on in the country, if you didn't run away from the mums of Southport when you went to get your photo opportunity and somebody called you a wanker, if you'd actually met these people, if you really were working class, oh, sorry, you don't like the word class, you were a working person because your dad was a tool maker, how much more of this bullshit do we have to put up with? How much more of the, it's 14 years of Tory ruin? Today, Corella Deville, the woman I was just telling you about, the woman, Bridget, whatever her name is, Bridget Nomark, the education secretary, she sits, they said, do you have a nice summer holiday? That was how the interview started. Andrew Pearce said to her on GB News, and she goes, oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, lovely. And he said, well, your government hasn't. What he should have said is, well, the United Kingdom hasn't, because England, Britain, Scotland, Wales, Ireland is burning because of the decisions you're making. Starmer and Cooper, forget about the ECHR. We'll put that to one side. The culprits, the villains in all this, at the moment, is Yvette Cooper and Starmer. They could do what other parties are saying they're going to do, like Keir and the Conservatives, or indeed Farage, or rip up the ECHR and say we'll have our own Bill of Rights. No. He doesn't want that because, as I say, just like those 3 judges, they don't want Britain and Britons to decide their future. It goes back to Brexit, this. They want to decide it themselves. They want decisions to be made abroad. They don't want us to be Great Britain. They want us to be Standard Britain. It's so wrong what is going on. And now they go back to the Commons tomorrow. And is anyone going to challenge them? I'm saying Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper have betrayed Britain in this hotel verdict. They chose illegal immigration criminals, because that's what they are, over the people, the decent silent majority of people of Epping who pay their taxes. Not only that, they then slate these people as if they're far-right thugs. And that's what's going to happen next. If it kicks off, that's what Starmer will say again. He's spineless, Starmer. Cooper is just clueless. I think she'll go first. Although it's a bit of a challenge at the moment. Is it her or Rachel Thieves, our useless Chancellor of the Exchequer? And one of the worst things about all of this, there's no proper opposition to it. Yes, there's Nigel. 15 points ahead in the polls, you Dumbo, Starmer. Do you not realise why that is? Because Nigel does go in pubs. He does go in clubs. He does meet people. And he speaks their language, just like Donald Trump, but you don't. And you never will. You'll never be a leader while I've got a hole in my underpants. This ruling, effectively, in Epping at the hotel, have exposed Starmer and Cooper and the whole Labour agenda. Their agenda is illegal migrants and criminals first, British people last. Illegal migrants and criminals first, British people last. But you pay while they play. It's absolutely outrageous. Are you with me or against me? I can't believe that they sided. I know it was the law and I know it was the ECHR and all of that, but we could get out of that. They sided to betray Britain and side with illegal immigrants against the people of Epping. Not just the people of Epping, but everybody in this country. If you like what I'm saying, can you smash the like button if you think Starmer and Cooper have betrayed us in this Epping Migrant Verdict? And also write your thoughts at the bottom. I'm going to come straight to them in a couple of moments. As you can tell, I'm fired up. I hope you are in the comments too. Good afternoon. It is Sunday, but it's not a day of rest for Gaunty. We're talking Epping, and we're talking about the betrayal of Britain. If you like what I do, press the share button. Tell all your friends about it. If you'd like to donate, it is the last day of the month, so it'd be great if you could. Please press the little dollar sign at the bottom of the video and donate whatever you want. You'll get your name on the screen. Likewise, you can do it on www.buymeacoffee.com. But answer me this question. I've put up this election thing here. Whether we can get an election, we can if we keep knocking them. That'll come. It'll have to come. It'll be like the Tories. They'll go through everybody, including the lettuce, and eventually they say, let the people decide. So let's see. We need a general election. Nigel will get voted in. And let's face it now, even if you're not a Farage supporter, he can't do worse than these muppets, these treasonous muppets have done. The more I've thought about it over the last day or two, the angrier I've got, and I see the plan, their agenda. They want us back in the EU and they want us to be their servants. But we pay the wages. Run this one past me again. He doesn't have to listen to us. And that snooty judge, was he right up his own, you know where? Let's get your views today. Do you want an election? And if you did get an election, who would you vote for? Tell me now in the comments. And I was just saying before that, you can always buy me a coffee, www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or you can choose to buy a beer. But don't forget to subscribe also to the YouTube channel, which is Jon Gaunt TV. Right, let's go. Ronnie Hurst, Starmer doesn't care about the British public, correct? Greg Galvin on Facebook. Afternoon, John. Evening. Don't you want to say something, Greg? Pip Tomlinson over in Spain. Elon Musk is piling the pressure on about Epping 2. Someone Starmer doesn't have the power or control over. No, it's been brilliant what Elon Musk has done the past few days. Absolutely brilliant. He's standing up for our freedom of speech. He's standing up for our sovereignty. What's Starmer doing? Jack all. No, he's doing worse than that. He's deliberately fighting against our nationhood. That's why I call him a traitor. Yvette Cooper, she can be the same as far as I'm concerned. Traitors, the lot of them. And if you voted for them, hang your head in shame. Although, to be fair, guys, it was a contract. They're liars. It was a fraud. It was a complete and utter fraud, wasn't it? Not only Elon Musk is fighting for us, but I would imagine Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are going to join in again soon as well. We've become the laughingstock of the world. What country in the same week would say our flag is racist, right, and allow people to say that on national telly, would get upset when a beloved TV personality just says what he thinks about the migrant chaos that they've created? What other country in the world would let those two things happen? And then thirdly, is there a country in the world that would say, I'm your prime minister and we got this court case, but I'm not on your side. I'm on the side of the opposition. It's kind of unthinkable, unbelievable. I can hardly find the words to describe it. Outrageous. Nero watched while Rome burnt. Look what happened to him. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. He's certainly fiddling. I don't know with what or who. Starmer and Cooper are doomed. Doomed, I say, says Ronnie Hurt. Yes, Ronnie, but for how long? How much damage can they cause before we finally get rid of them? Greg Galvin says, I think you're wrong to say we shouldn't be angry at the decisions now and at their... Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Ooh, I do apologise. Bless me. Thank you. I think you're wrong to say we shouldn't be angry at the decisions now and at their actions, instead asking why we got in the situation in the first place. Thank you for your tips on broadcasting. We are here now and we are angry. I think your show and papers like the Daily Mail are an echo chamber for people like us. Maybe our thoughts are in minority. Greg, has somebody been putting something in your water or your tea? What a load of bullshit that is. The majority view in this country is that Starmer's wrong on this and Cooper. We're not an echo chamber. You know, why do you want to talk up the opposition? I think you need to go and give yourself a whack over the head with the Times and then come back and join us again. Where are we going next? We're going to go to Jackie Ward. Starmer will get away with it because there's no one in the party willing to take him on. Well, I don't know, you see. Angela Rayner, she's now moving constituencies. She'll probably buy another house to make sure she gets elected. A lot of people are saying she's the leader in waiting. And then there's Andy Burnham. But it probably won't happen quick enough. You might be right, Jackie. If Reform UK win the next election, what on earth state will the country be in by then? I'm in despair. Yes. But I think it won't be another 4 years. That's what I'm trying to inspire people today to keep up the criticism. I don't agree with this one. James R.C. Irvin says, hey, you all know how to take care of this. Do it. Ridiculous comment if that's suggesting rioting and civil disobedience. No. Absolute no. Oh, and here's another idiot. Your video should read, King Charles betrayed Britain. As Starmer and Cooper serve the establishment, not the UK citizens. Think of Starmer and Cooper as the Fall Guys. Agnostic traveller. Go away, you pathetic creature. I do not think this country will change, as Greg Galvin, until the education and media industries are rid of the falafel-eating, open-toe sandal-wearing libtards. Well, now you're making a bit of sense, Greg, and I kind of agree with that. Let's move on. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew Davis. Afternoon, Gaunty. I went to a motel hotel protest yesterday with my 75-year-old mum. Blimey. We have never protested against anything in our lives, and we met many others the same as us. That's a very interesting question, Matthew. What did your mum make of it? And did you meet lots of people who were like you? So you're saying it isn't the usual suspects. It is on the lefty side, I know, but on the side of people, ordinary residents, it's just ordinary concerned people, is it? That's interesting. That is really, really interesting. Stuart Thumpston, sorry for the language, but see, Stuart, you say sorry and then you use the word. Just don't do it. If you want to do that on your own page, go and do it. Don't do it here, because it's not big, it's not clever, and it's just stupid. Greg Galvin, does Farage as a fiscal policy? It's not really the moment to ask that, is it, Greg? You're another one. Have you been taking drugs today before you decided to join in? Don't wind me up. Talk about the agenda. If Ryland gets cancelled, we're no better than North Korea in terms of free speech, says Seaside Mark. Mark, I agree with you. I can't believe the way they've turned against him, the mainstream media. And they all have. They're writing these snidey little articles. He just basically said what most people think. And when he said about the NHS in the hotel lobby, he didn't mean they were physically there. But the papers, and these people are intelligent, so they're not doing it because they're thick. They're writing it as if that's what Ryland meant. There was a doctor's surgery in each hotel. It's not what he meant. What he meant was they get access to all of this. And is that fair if they haven't paid in? Especially now when other people who have paid in aren't getting access all the time. That's, to me, a perfectly legitimate point. The bit about iPads, well, I think he was wrong there, but it's a bit of hyperbole, and maybe if you want him to apologise for that, you can. But they do get phones. They've all got phones. It's true. And they all, 90-odd% of them are fighting age men. Anyway, let's just move it on a bit, please. Can Starmer and Cooper survive? I'm a little bit depressed already. I'm beginning to think, why did I bother doing this today? Because it sounds to me as if some of the feeling I'm getting is, oh, well, we can't win. We can't win. Let's give up. Let Starmer just get on with it. We'll try and deal with it in 4 years once he's completely wrecked the country. We're Great Britain. We beat the Nazis. We liberated Europe twice. Are we going to be defeated by a bunch of swarthy-looking blokes wearing flip-flops getting out of a dinghy in Dover? Where's your British pride? Oh, talking of which, I want to bring this in as well. Have you seen the headlines in the Express today? Evidently, the majority of people now wouldn't fight for our country. When I saw that on the internet this morning, I thought, oh, well, that's young people. They know nothing. Ignore it. But it's across all the age ranges. What does that say about Starmer's Britain? And then he talks about, oh, yeah, Zelensky, we're right behind you. Yeah, well, we're right behind you in supporting Ukraine. You'll send our kids to die. No wonder people say they don't want to sign up. But what does it say about our country? And I think I'm getting a bit of this from you today. Maybe I've got it wrong. Tell me if I have. I think we can change things. I believe in people power. That's why I think the women of Epping and Nuneaton and Merseyside, Manchester, Canary Wharf, I think they're doing a fantastic job protesting peacefully and getting their point over. The fact that the law, I mean, one of those judges, he's chairman of the Labour Party Law Society or something. How can that be fair? I mean, I know they're meant to be always impartial. Hi, John. I remember seeing Yvette Cooper on Question Time, tapping her pencil or pen and looking very pompous when listening to a Tory talking about something she disagreed with. Not so pompous now, eh? Says Niven Casey. Well, I don't know, Niven, because she hasn't bloody spoken. But this week she'll have to. she'll have to speak in Parliament, and it'll be interesting to see what she says. But I think it'll be clueless. She hasn't got a clue. He hasn't got a clue either. That's one of the things about this government. They're politically tone deaf. Look at the decision to attack pensioners and take away the winter fuel allowance. Even if you agreed with it, the way they handled it was appalling. Look at their attacks on students. Look at their inheritance tax suggestions that are obviously going to come out in the next week or two. Look at look at every policy they put forward. I said ages ago, and people sort of copy it now, that Starmer has got the Midas touch in reverse. Instead of everything turning to gold, everything he touches turns to you know what. He has no political nous. And that's probably because he never thought he was going to be Prime Minister. And then they bragged, didn't they? The grown-ups are back in charge. What, the grown-ups who on day one cancelled the Rwanda scheme, the only deterrent we had. And the numbers of new arrivals coming in boats has gone through the roof. And then he says, I've done a deal with France. Really? Yeah, we're giving them £8 million or euros or whatever. Oh, yeah. 800, sorry. What's that going to do then? It's going to smash the gangs. It's going to stop the boats. It's done neither. And now I see, but we've done another deal with France. Oh, yeah, what's that one, Keir? Oh, it's one in, one out. We take one, we give them one of the illegals, and they give us one who's already passed all the things in France. Well, let him stay in fucking France then. Why does he want to come here? Anyway, it turns out it was one out, 17 in. And now it turns out the whole thing's collapsed. Because little Macron, it's not just his wife who wants to give him a slap. It's the whole of the French electorate. Pathetic. We are Great Britain. Why are we in this position? I know it's not just his fault. 14 years of the Conservatives was abysmal as well. Susan Paris, I suppose people thought of the old-time Labour. Nobody knew about Starmer and his crew. Susan, that is a very good point on Facebook. Thank you for making it. Yeah, people thought they were getting Labour. Terrible things like socialism, looking after the elderly, making sure there's youth clubs for kids to go to. All those kinds of things, which are great. But no, they've kind of got a turbocharge Thatcherism, but without even being able to spell Thatcherism, let alone understand it. It's a terrible situation. You don't have to win every battle to win the war, says Mark the Vicar. Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough, Mark. But where's the preparations to win the war? You made this point the other night, and I think it's a good point. It was a good point then. I'm not so sure now. I mean, there's protests today and there were protests yesterday, but have you noticed the mainstream media? There's almost a blackout talking about what's happening on some of these demos and protests. And if they do talk about violence, they're always suggesting it's the mums who are doing it. The people who are worried about their daughters and sisters, wives getting raped and sexually assaulted. That's who they normally blame. They don't blame Antifa, do they? They were there today at Canary Wharf already shouting foul things, and there's no one there protesting the hotel at the moment, but they're there as the anti-protest. It's just unbelievable. And we've got a situation, I said earlier, where people are slagging off our flags, and our flag is racist. Donald Trump's just passed a law, if you burn the Star and Stripes, you're going to jail for a year. I'm not sure we necessarily have to go that far, but it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? And now people don't want to fight, don't want to join up. How are you going to win in Ukraine, Starmer? Is it you and your lad going, is it? Huh? Maybe take Macron's wife. She's got a good right hook. It's just a joke. And you can't trust the mainstream media. I mean, have you read any of the articles that the BBC have been putting up on their website about it? They always manage to find some poor, unfortunate, usually from Tanzania, right? How many are coming from Tanzania, I don't know. And they sort of say, well, they've had to suffer terrible racism since the game. Well, I'm against racism, as you know. But don't give me a fucking sob story. Give me the facts. Or talk to me. It's one of the young fighting age men. The ones who are sticking the V's up out the window. Why are they doing that, mate? And see, they'll have a good story to tell. Maybe they feel that they're getting attacked or, verbally. They're all getting painted as if they're all the same. And as I say, there have been these allegations and there are court cases going on at the moment. But I don't believe that every illegal migrant is a rapist or somebody who indulges in sexual assault. I do believe every one of them is illegal. And that brings me on to the other thing. I'll come back to your comments in a minute. I'm trying to give you food for thought here. The way they say they're not illegal. Have you seen this? They're all over X and all over Facebook. They're not illegal, you gammon idiot, you fascist. Because the moment they say, I want asylum, they can't be classed as illegal. Yeah? Who says that? Some international court. They can stick that where the sun don't shine. They're illegal because they broke into our country. You patriotic morons. Mind you, sixth form's open again on Tuesday, so they might quieten down a bit. But what a ridiculous thing. Of course they're illegal. But they do this, and the BBC do it all the time. Starmer tried to get it going, didn't he, when he started calling them not illegal immigrants, irregular. Irregular? What does that mean? What does that mean? They're criminals, Starmer. That's what you used to deal with. Although, as you say, Jimmy Savile never came across your desk, did he? But you prosecuted lots of people. You're tough. You know what you're doing. You can tear a tissue. You can crush a grape. I'd love to see you rip the arm off an action man. I bet you could. Rocky, that's who you are. Darren Cummings. The scary thing, Two-Tier and the rest of his useless team don't think they're doing anything wrong. Up the revolution, says Darren. Yeah, that is really, they are so deluded. They think they're doing a good job. That Bridget Phillipson on the telly this morning. It was like living in a parallel universe. It was like suddenly living on the same planet as Radio 5 Dead or the BBC. When I used to be on TalkSport, I used to go back on the train and I'd listen into what they were talking about. And they'd be talking about the same subjects that we'd been talking about this morning. But it was like, you what? Totally different style of people ringing in. Because the BBC, you see, they do this thing where they go, oh, no, that's enough working class. Let's have a debate about the death penalty. Right? Switchboard goes mental, right? Or paedophilia, right? Switchboard goes mental. And then there's no callers being put through. So you get on the talk back and you go, oi, why aren't you putting the callers through? Oh, they all agree with you, Gaunty. Yeah. So my question was, why aren't you putting any callers through? Oh, that'd be no balance. What? It's not for you to decide the balance. If the people that day all think they should be hung up by their bollocks, then that's what you put through, you tosser. It's like when they do Vox Pops. They're kind of dying out now, but they do it a bit still. So you do a Vox Pop, you go out in the street and you ask people a question. And say you get 9 people out of 10 say, hang them, or bring back the death penalty for paedophilia, and you get 1 who doesn't. The BBC used to splice that to make it look as if it's balanced. I brought this up at a big seminar with some big BBC knobs, and I said, well, that's not right, is it? That's not telling the truth. You have to say, well, today, this is what people think. I personally don't agree with them, or whatever you want to say. But you can't manipulate what the public think. But you see, this is what Starmer is going to do from tomorrow. Mark my words. He's already put up some videos today saying, we're getting tough on it. We've sent this amount of people back. We're doing this. We're doing that. It's all bullshit, though. 11% his ratings. Look at Farage. And that doesn't mean we're intolerant and we're racist. It just means we want to protect ours first. John, I totally agree with you because you talk more sense than any of the Labour Party. Hardly a compliment, is it? But thank you very much indeed, Crag. Is anyone going to donate anything today? I'm working my balls off here. Had lots of people watching, loads of likes, 30 likes. Come on, put a few quid in the pot for me. Jackie Ward, you know how to do, don't you? Just press the little dollar sign at the bottom of the video, or if you're listening on the internet or you're listening to a podcast, all you do is go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I will be here tomorrow, by the way. The show will probably be at 6 tomorrow. Tuesday, it's a movable feast. I'm going to my daughter's to dog sit again, but I'm taking all my equipment. So I shouldn't have said anything because you probably wouldn't have noticed. Jackie Ward, even though I despair at times, we have to win. We can't give in, John. Oh, she's reacting to what I said earlier, that I'm getting a feeling people have given up. We have to keep up the pressure because we are the losers if we don't. Matthew Davis, who went on his first demo yesterday, said, we met loads of people like us yesterday, John. None of us far-right thugs. The silent majority are silent no more. I wonder whether, Matthew, that's what's happening. Because I'm saying, oh, people are quiet. Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe people are organising and realising, like the Mark the Vicar just said, that it's more than one battle. A war's won over a period of time. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I just don't want people to get fed up. Greg Galvin, the corrupt courts have just proved that protesting is pointless. So what options do we have left? Well, you see, it depends if you think they're corrupt. I think it's more endemic. It's kind of just part of the culture. The working class can never be right. Yeah? What's that song? The working class can wipe my ass? I don't know. It'll come back to me later. No grandchild of ours would never for Blair, Starmer, Rayner, UK. It's over, broken. When a government can jail people of flag... When a government can jail people of flag Palestine, no thanks, man. Well, I don't understand any of that, James. Try and write it again in English if you can, and I'll read it out. I think I know what you're trying to get at, but I don't want to be the BBC and misinterpret you. Having served my country in the Royal Navy, says Darren Cummings on Facebook, I wouldn't do it again under Starmer and this woke king. Not a chance. I really don't get this, why people are slagging off the king. I just don't get it. Not because I'm a great supporter of his, but I just think that is such an obvious diversion, distraction tactic by politicians. In our country, it's the politicians who make the decisions. So just stop this pathetic nonsense because it winds me up. Are they going to survive? That's the question I'm asking you today. Starmer and Cooper are really clueless. History will show it, says... who's that? Who said that? Ronnie Hurst. Somebody calling themselves Bacon. Get Starmer and his wonderful illegal army of immigrants out. And then he says the Great Awakening is real. Well, it all sounds great, mate. It all sounds great. But at the moment, that's just sound bites. Ray Goddard says the whole thing is outrageous. Bacon, why don't you now, instead of just giving sound bites, yeah, because he's got another one here. Stand up for Brits. Why didn't you, Mr. Starmer? Done. Thumbs down, he says. But why don't you make a point rather than just... No, he's put loads of little simple comments. That's not the idea. The idea is to have a conversation and put forward an argument. Susan Paris says same difference in illegal immigrants because they're not legally entitled to come to Britain. I have 7 granddaughters and I fear for all of them going back to school next week. I know where you're coming from. Where are we next? Bacon has just filled up the whole chat box. So we'll just wait a minute till Bacon, other people with proper comments can come on. Bacon, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? It's just nonsense. Just you kind of just shouting out things. John, we all know David Lammy will not take Starmer's job. Do we? I've never even thought about it, to be honest. Anyway, that's it then. I'm done. It didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I wanted it to be a proper conversation about how betrayed do you feel? Do you feel that Starmer can pull it back? What's going to happen this week? in the political world when he comes back to the Commons. Should he talk to the British people? See, I think he should. I think he needs to make a statement. I think he won't, because I think he realises he's in a real cleft stick, isn't he? Because of the ECHR, he had to go with that. But we don't have to have it. That's the bit I can't get my head around. And even on some radio stations, which are normally quite good, they talk about this and they go, yeah, but where would we put them all? We don't want them in houses of multiple occupation. No, we don't. Close hotels, get the tents, put them up behind barbed wire, look after them, treat them properly, and that's it. Navy in the Channel, Army on the beach. Anybody else comes, take them one straight back. Meanwhile, we'll deal with all the ones we got now. It's not difficult. It is not difficult. Whereas what's going to happen is Starmer's going to come back and tell you a load of cock and bull, because she started it about a week ago, Yvette Cooper, which is we're going to get a load of people to assess people's claims quickly so that we can get rid of people if they shouldn't be here. Of course, the converse of that is so we can process them, lower the standards, just like the police. Now they've got, Snow White's powers in it. We'll lower the standards and we'll let them all stay. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be the de facto amnesty. And even that, I could almost stomach it if there wasn't anybody else coming in. But you haven't stopped the flow of the blood, have you? You have to stop it at source and say, no, you're not coming in. I'm sorry if that makes us sound like savages, but no. See, I don't agree with that either. See, Richard Pope just says, I understand where he's coming from. He says, back in the dinghies and pull the plug. No, see, I don't want individual migrants, economic migrants, asylum seekers, con men, liars, thieves, whatever they are. I don't want them damaged. I don't want us to be barbaric. But we just have to say, no, we've got enough in the country at the moment. That's it, thank you. We're going to deal with these, and then we'll come back to you. But if you've got a skill, and we find out you've got a skill, we might need you straight away. See, that's the thing I don't get with the Liberals. Even on a very elementary level, these people are queue jumping, aren't they? They're just getting in the dinghy and coming. Is that what we want? Are they the kind of people we want in our country? Just a thought. Anyway, if you did want to help me out, please press the little dollar sign and donate anything you fancy. It all goes to make the podcast continue and develop them. Next week, we've got some good guests coming up as well, I think, if they don't let me down. You can also fund me by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. That's me done for a Sunday afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed it. Not quite, as I say, not quite what I wanted the show to be, but thank you for that. Jackie sent me the love hearts. That's good. Darren Cummings is trying to be positive. Says, couldn't we remove the fishing licenses from the French until they stop the invasion? Couldn't we just invade France? Would that not be quick? That's a joke. Anyway, I'll see you Monday. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. Thanks for watching. Bye.